Get ready for an adventure. Here is a story called The Gleaming Horn and the Hidden Gem. Once upon a time, nestled beside a sparkling sea, lived Noodle the Narwhal Knight. Noodle wasn't just any narwhal, he was a knight. His skin shimmered a cheerful green, and he wore armor crafted from the most beautiful, enchanted seashells. Whenever he felt a chill, he would imagine himself enjoying a tea party with his best friends, surrounded by colorful flowers. His most prized possession was his horn. This wasn't just any horn. Oh no! It glowed with a soft, inviting light whenever treasure was near. One sunny morning, Noodle was enjoying a tea party with the Kraken, his best friend, in his cozy underwater castle. They sipped tea from seashell cups and nibbled on seaweed biscuits, surrounded by a garden of glowing coral flowers. "My friend, have you heard the tales?" boomed the Kraken, his voice like the gentle rumble of underwater caves. "They say there's a hidden gem atop the whispering peak, a gem that grants wishes." Noodle's horn immediately began to glow, its light dancing on the tea party table. "A gem? And it grants wishes?" he exclaimed, his green eyes sparkling with excitement. "We must find it!" And so Noodle prepared for his quest. He knew the journey would be challenging. Whispering Peak was a tall mountain, its peak often shrouded in swirling mist. He bid farewell to the Kraken, promising to return with the gem. "Be careful, my friend," rumbled the Kraken. "The path up the peak is old and filled with many puzzles." Noodle put on his helmet, polished his seashell armor until it gleamed, and set off towards the mountain. The path, as the Kraken said, was indeed ancient. It was once a grand road, built long ago, now crumbling in places. This appealed to Feng, who loved exploring old ruins. As Noodle began his climb, the path twisted and turned. He had to navigate through tricky puzzles and riddles carved into the stone. He muttered, scratching his head with a flipper. "Let's see," the riddle says. "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and water but no fish." Noodle thought for a moment. Then his horn began to glow, guiding him. He realized the answer was a map. He followed the map, which led him through a dusty and slightly dirt-filled section of the road. Noodle was a little bit bothered by the dust. He held his breath and pushed through, focusing on his quest. The puzzles got harder the higher he climbed. One puzzle required him to arrange glowing crystals in a certain order. Another demanded he solve a complex maze. Noodle's horn never failed him. It guided him, always pointing him in the right direction. He used his 7 minutes and 7 seconds of underwater breathing as a way to help him focus, picturing himself underwater, finding more flowers for his underwater tea party. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Noodle reached the summit. The gem was there, sparkling atop a stone pedestal. It glowed with 1,000 colors, more radiant than any jewel he had ever seen. As Noodle reached for the gem, his horn began to glow even brighter, and he realized something incredible. The gem wasn't just a jewel, it was a symbol of the true treasure. Etched onto the pedestal, in a language only Noodle could understand, were the words, "The greatest treasure is friendship." Noodle then noticed a small, intricate carving on the pedestal, in the shape of a dragon. He smiled, knowing that his friend Feng would have loved to see this detail. Noodle had been so focused on finding the gem that he hadn't realized the true value of his journey. He realized that he already had the greatest treasure of all, his friends. He smiled to himself. The gem, while beautiful, wasn't what mattered most. He knew he would return to the Kraken. Noodle carefully placed the gem back on the pedestal and, with a happy heart, turned to descend the mountain. He knew he had a tea party to get to. Back in his underwater castle, the Kraken and Noodle held a tea party, the most joyful tea party ever. Noodle, with a heart full of happiness, recounted his journey. "I learned that the real treasure isn't a gem," he said, smiling. "It's the friends we make along the way." The Kraken gave him a big, booming hug. And as the sun set over the sea, Noodle knew that he was the richest narwhal knight in the world. and he would happily continue his adventures with his best friend. Let's see what a great listener you are. Can you answer the following question? What did Noodle learn was the true treasure? Let's see how you did. The answer is, Noodle learned that the true treasure was friendship. You did a great job. That's all for now. I can't wait until our next Story Pie adventure together.